I know for me personally, when I became an investor and then operated some of the crypto platforms, it was the attractiveness of the unbanked population finally getting a shot at creating some wealth and being brought into the financial ecosystem. I was shocked to hear that over $1.4 billion globally, if that number actually might be higher, don't have access to any financial services. And so the ability to use blockchain technology, crypto on a mobile device, they all have mobile, really changes the game. Do you feel that this could maybe bring about more equitable landscape in the world for these emerging markets, Julie?
I do, and one of the projects that I've worked on in the past and still involved with is with a group that's doing work in Africa. And so, as you mentioned, having mobiles and access to payments, but maybe not being fully banked. And what they're doing is helping to commoditize or tokenize commodities, which helps to reduce the volatility. And then they're able to, help provide some of these folks that are in agriculture to reduce the volatility of their inputs and outputs, and really help bring them up into a different strata in the economy. And I think that there's a lot of opportunities there, and it's really exciting to see.
Right. Gabby, I want to get your perspective on the saga of FTX. I think we're all still kind of, as an industry, recovering from the black eye. What can we learn from FTX so that the industry doesn't have a setback like that?
Mhm. I think some of the things to, kind of think about and reflect on are the need for like industry cohesion and professional maturity, a desire to not only be looking at the requirements as set out in law and regulation, but also looking at what could be good practice and really holding each other somewhat accountable to that in terms of industry peers. I think the other piece is to not necessarily throw the baby out with the bathwater when we look at traditional finance. There's reasons in traditional finance why certain rules and regulations have been adopted and implemented, and not everything is, meant to be bureaucratic or red tape. And in fact, many things have been enacted in order to protect investors and also to protect the maturation and development of the industry. Okay. So sometimes when we look at regulations, it's like, oh, it's just to protect consumers. It's also to protect the healthy growth of an industry and an economy. And I think sometimes people forget that second part. So what I would say is that, what can we learn from this? It's to draw from some of the lessons learned from traditional finance as we continue to grow, to not get so FOMO or hyped up that we forget some of those like foundational values that carry forward regardless as to whether you're talking about digital finance or traditional finance. And also to contain and maintain a healthy degree of professional skepticism. And, again, I don't mean to like throw it back to the CPA background, but I feel like this is one of those areas where if something sounds to be too good to be true, it probably is. So this is where I think, you know, there's a lot of importance that needs to be placed on, really kind of keeping a level head, getting excited about and supporting the evolution of the financial sector towards a digital future, but also remembering that there are many times underlying reasons. And history, may not always repeat itself, but it often rhymes. And I think that when we look at some of the challenges that we may see going forward, it's often good to kind of reflect back and consider if there wasn't something that similarly may echo the experiences that we're facing today that we can draw from in order to hopefully minimize the pain that we may feel for any potential issues or challenges. And then also if there are ways that we can um, accelerate, some of the achievements and successes that we've seen or that we would like to see in that sector.
Can I just add one piece in there, just from my perspective? I think Gabby really hit it, but governance is so important. And no matter if you're a young startup or if you're a fully regulated entity, I mean, I think the fact that there were they sort of skipped some of the processes that you would expect, and governance is really important, and ethics are really important, and making sure that those align. And I think in the excitement and the hype of getting involved in the biggest thing, I think those were overlooked. I think it's really important, and that's why I feel like having a regulated financial institution in the space is actually a really great way to ensure the safety and soundness moving forward.